Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. EQ Nostalgia here, and Visionary Realms just had a live stream the other day for Pantheon Rise of the Fallen. So this is the first time we're really getting to see some true gameplay here. We're getting to see people running around in a group, killing mobs, and just doing stuff that all of us remember from back in the day. This game looks very classic EverQuest Online Adventures, old school style stuff that I remember and many of my subscribers here remember very fondly. Now, before I say anything else, all of the footage that I have here is from a live stream, and the bitrate looked like it was pretty low because there's a lot of blur. It's not really doing it justice, and you'll notice when they're standing still, the game looks much better. You can see that 1080p quality, but the bitrate here is pretty ugly. You also have to bear in mind that this is pre-alpha stuff. This game is not even close to being complete yet. They haven't put any of the finishing touches on it. It's going to look a lot better once it's finally done. Now, one of the things that they mentioned during the live stream, and one of the things that I find most appealing about this game, is that all of the races have their own starting city. And that's something that I really loved from EverQuest Online Adventures. It just gave it more personality. I found myself rolling alts just to experience all of the different starting areas. In fact, some of my most fond memories from EverQuest Online Adventures are the starting areas. When I go into that emulator and I walk around the world, I go to Neriak and I go to Hollis and Surefall Glade and all of the areas that I remember, and that's the most fond memories for me. I mean, sure, there's camps that, a lot of people will remember fondly from those games, but the starting cities are just something special. So I love the fact that that's in there. I can't stress that enough. A lot of people actually have expressed some concern about the lack of a Bard and a Necro class in this game. They put that to rest during the live stream, saying that they're going to be out shortly after the game releases. So if you have an affinity for raising the dead or buffing people, you're going to be able to do that, no problem. Maybe you just want to, maybe you want to just play songs for people so they don't run out of mana, so they're not sitting around. And that is something that this game does. It's very classic. You do have to sit to recover your mana. You will also de-level in this game if you die too many times. You will actually start to lose experience and lose levels. For EverQuest Online Adventures, we just had debt, which I felt worked pretty well, but this seems like it's kind of the same thing, but it's just a little bit more extreme. If you really mess up, you're going to lose levels, so that's definitely going to be something you're going to want to avoid. Once again, a very classic decision to keep that death penalty in there to make it, that risk versus reward, and just give you that sense of danger that is missing from most modern MMOs. I've been enthusiastic about this project ever since its inception, and it's just really good to see how far they've come despite everything that's kind of gone against this game. They haven't had a successful Kickstarter, but they just kept going, and it looks like they're making some pretty damn good progress. Now, just taking a look at this UI, it looks very generic. Obviously, this is just placeholder. They're going to be putting things in here that look a lot better. A lot of this stuff is just, it's going to look better over time. But the UI does give me that EverQuest Online Adventures feel, or that classic EverQuest feel. Graphically, I think the game looks pretty good. It doesn't look amazing. It's not like Black Desert Online amazing, but it does look good. I like the fact that the foliage sways in the wind. It would be cool to see different weather effects. One thing that I really love about games is how dynamic some of the weather can be. Just getting a rainstorm to roll through and a bunch of wind blowing in the trees. Stuff like that really helps with immersion. And immersion is one of the biggest things for me with MMORPGs. I have to be immersed. And the world does look very good. It does look immersive. And you can see in the background there's like a light mist, things like that I love. Hopefully when you go into the mountains where it's colder, there will be snow drifts and things like that. Things of that nature really help with the immersion. Now, it's no secret that the MMORPG genre has grown pretty stale. I want to see new things from the genre, I want to see innovation, but I think that part of the problem is that the past has been lost. A lot of things have just kind of been lost in translation over the years, and one of those things that we lost is the fact that MMORPGs just used to launch you into a world. They didn't have you following this cookie cutter quest line. They didn't tell you where to go, none of that shit. And that's one of the things that I really miss about MMORPGs. Just dump me into a world, let me find a bunch of random strangers who I can go around with, explore, and that's one of the things about this game that I love. And they mentioned that there's going to be all these visual cues that they want to set up in the game world that will lead you from one point to another, and you just kind of make your own adventure. You don't have to go through somebody's preset questing. You have your own stories with your own groups and people that you meet and friends that you make. You'll be able to actually sit around in a camp and talk to people, something that you just don't do in MMOs anymore. Now, obviously, there will be some solo stuff that you can do, but it's never going to be it's never going to be the thing that you really want to do. You can solo in this game, and they're saying that you can solo in this game, but who really wants to do that? If you want to progress and you really want to get into the game and you want to kill bosses and you want to get good loot, you're going to have to get into a group. So yeah, this is very group oriented, and I love that. Now later on in the live stream, we started to see 6 people in the group. One additional person had joined them, so I'm not certain about the maximum group size. Now this camp here in particular is funny. Already I'm having a little bit of like an EverQuest Online Adventures flashback here. This reminds me of the Cracktooth Orc camp from EverQuest Online Adventures, and it looks very similar. So they definitely have that same vibe going on, and I think that's going to appeal to a lot of classic EverQuest and EverQuest Online Adventure fans. Basically, if you were into the pioneers of 3D MMORPG gaming, you're going to be into this game, and I think it looks phenomenal. It's coming along great. Now, in terms of seamlessness, I can't remember if they said if it was going to be completely wide open or if you had to load individual zones and dungeons and things like that. I'm pretty certain the dungeons are going to be wide open where they're not instanced, but I'm not certain how it's going to play out for the world itself. The zones look absolutely massive. I mean, they only showed us part of one zone. This zone is huge. Now, not to sound nitpicky, but one thing that's worth pointing out is that you can tell the spell animations and things like that aren't done yet. When they charge up for like their fireball and the ice spell, I noticed that it just looks very basic, and when he goes to kind of cast it, he doesn't throw it at the enemy, it just kind of goes off. The only reason why I mention this is because obviously it's going to take a while to polish all of these things. This is usually the kind of stuff that they do last, graphic stuff, animations, and just really nailing down last minute things like casting spells. There's so many things that go into MMORPGs, all the numbers and all the crap that they have to put in there quest-wise and drops, all the different stats for items, all of your stats. It's just crazy. I can't even imagine what it's like to develop an MMORPG with all of the data that has to go into making these games. It's absurd. So it takes time, and that's fine. As long as it comes out, that's fine. I don't want to see, a repeat of EverQuest next, and I don't want to see a repeat of Vanguard. I don't want to see that happen. I really liked Vanguard. I enjoyed it. To me, it felt like the closest I had ever been to EverQuest Online Adventures, and it was a really good game. So this, I want to see this succeed. I want this to come out and be absolutely phenomenal and give old school gamers a place to go, because the future of EverQuest, period, I think is in jeopardy right now. TLDR version. Old school MMORPGs are a dying breed. This is a breath of fresh air, and I'm really, really happy to see that it's coming along as fast as it is and as nicely as it is. But right now I want to hear from you guys. I want to hear what you think about this game. Have you been following it closely? Do you know nothing about it until now? Have you ever played an old school MMORPG? So let me know what your thoughts are down in the comment section below. If you're new here and or you like what you see, please be sure to hit that subscribe button, and also be sure to leave a like. I thank you all for watching, and I look forward to seeing you all in my next video.